I think it's important that anybody listening, that you go for it and you imagine what that looks like. I didn't go into this with the intention of having a big company. It happened one employee at a time. You said, how do you get to 30 employees? Well, I start with one.
You're listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with your host, Michael Palmer. Listen each week as inspiring guests share their secrets of success to help you increase your confidence, work smarter, and build a business you love. This episode of The Successful Bookkeeper is brought to you by PureBookkeeping.com, the proven system to grow your bookkeeping business.
Welcome back to the Successful Bookkeeper podcast. I am your host, Michael Palmer, and today is the finale of a two-part series with Jenny Groberg, who is the founder of BookSmarts Accounting and Bookkeeping. In this episode, she shares how she transformed her team into a high-performing force and made key moves in pricing, delegation, and client fit to build a seven-figure firm. Let's check that out right now.
Up until maybe the last 2 or 3 years, we had a lot of hobby employees, meaning they just worked at BookSmarts because it was a hobby and they liked to have something for a few hours each day. The problem is that was okay for a time, but then if there's this workload or a need, they're not really willing to take on any more work to help the team. And sometimes there might be a big push with a client or with something, and we need to pull people on to have them help. And so it just became apparent that 10 hours, we hired you for 15 and you're only giving 10. That's not going to work. And we, try to encourage them. We need 5 more hours. And they say, well, this is all I can do. This is all I'm happy with. I can't do more. And then it just comes to the point where it's like, no, we are here to help women. We are here to develop women, but we also need women that can work and that can help BookSmarts. Does that make sense? So that has been a little bit of a tricky shift to go from hobby employees to we have to have better boundaries and say, no, we actually have to have a minimum of 15 hours. And if there's a need, we do need you to pitch in. And so that's been a little tricky. My manager does a really beautiful job at managing that. But when I look at timesheets and I see some employees that are barely working, that is kind of a drain on the whole team because there's a lot of oversight that goes into each employee. Like I said, we have manager one-on-ones, we have team meetings. I like to give gifts to my whole staff. We have a retreat every year in the fall. And we've been going up to my family cabin and I fly in all my employees. And it's my way of trying to celebrate them and showing my appreciation for them. And I go all out and I do a lot of things to try to spoil them. And so if you have an employee that's not really doing a whole lot, that can get really expensive. So that has been a little tricky. But then, like I said, in the last couple of years, I just spent so much time pleading with God to save me. I couldn't function. I couldn't do anything. And I just begged for years, please just allow me to do anything. And I promise that I will work so hard. And luckily I found this. I've done every rehab, physical therapy, eye therapy, cognitive therapy you can imagine. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on treatment. And fortunately, it's not all happened at once. It's been over 7 years, but I kept thinking, if I do this treatment, this will stick and this will heal me. If I can do this, maybe this will make a difference. Maybe this treatment will turn the dial. And you don't really know which one is going to work. And then I found this eye doctor in Chicago that makes special glasses for people with brain injuries. And it's like, that's it. And I absolutely feel like I have not gone through, if I can come back from a traumatic brain injury, I can do anything. I know I can. And I feel it. And so now I'm taking risks. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. okay, I will do that, and we will see what sticks. And somehow everything is turning the dial. And I am trying so hard to give back. And karma comes full circle. I mean, last year we gave 2 scholarships for 2 female students, high school students that are studying business. We do scholarships every year for young girls that are wanting to study business. We gave away a car last year. We helped pay medical bills for a woman and her family that needed it. The list goes on, but I feel very strongly that I am in a position where I can actually give back and make a difference. And that is coming back full circle. I had a woman call me and say, we have an issue with BYU Pathways. And I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's a program to try to educate people in other countries like Africa and South America and help them to learn bookkeeping and accounting. So they asked me if I would help teach the bookkeeping and accounting course. And I thought, this is awesome. I feel so passionately about this. And then from that, I have 2 other people that are founders or they're donors for BYU Pathways. I'm talking CEOs of billion-dollar companies that I have meetings with this month that oversee hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of franchises. And it's because they want to help me help them. Does that make sense? So if I can teach them, but then potentially hire them, I need to be able to hire them. There are very few people that have a way to employ the bookkeeping and accounting students. So then other people hear about it and they're saying to me, well, maybe I can help give you work. And that wasn't my intention going into this. My intention was 1,000% that I want to be able to help these BYU Pathways students. But I can see how things are coming full circle, and we're hopefully going to be able to have the opportunity to employ even more people.
We'll get back to the interview right after this word from our sponsor. Tired of juggling manual admin and everyday practice tasks when you'd rather be nurturing more valuable client relationships? With the new Sage for Accountants, you can automate daily tasks and unlock not only more efficiency, but more time for valuable client collaboration with all the tools you need, including accounting, payroll, client management, and more, all in one place. Get real-time reports to make informed decisions, eliminate hours of paperwork, and say hello to stress-free bookkeeping and practice management with a centralized solution backed by expert human support. Learn more about the new Sage for Accountants or get started for free at thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com/sage. Thank you for hearing from our sponsor. Now let's get back to the interview. It's remarkable. And yeah, it's you go out, the more value you create in the world, the more value the world gives back to you. And it's not always that way. It doesn't look that way all the time, but it's often the accounts are out in the beginning, but the accounts come back, and then it's a big shift the other way typically. And that's the way, I mean, any person who looks at the world like that has a great experience in life, regardless of what happens in their life. And that's part of that mindset of like, are you looking at the glass and is it half full or is the glass half empty? And that's a big mindset piece for people to get their hands around or minds around, and to, like you said, you're thinking big, you're going big, you've got a great purpose behind you, you have a strong faith by the sounds of things. These are all key things in making big things happen. And if you're not, like if an owner, anyone in their business is not passionate about it or doesn't have a big something at stake, well, it's, what can it become other than what it is at that moment?
Right. And I think it can be more. It doesn't have to just be accounting work. And this is why I feel like we're successful. I have the team and I have the structure that enables me to be able to help teach. Now, there's 1,000 people on a wait list for this course. They're trying to filter out who to choose to even have this course. There's a fund that's paying these people to be able to do the course so that they can offset that lack of income that they're sacrificing to do the education piece, but they don't know how to scale. And so this woman had heard of me and my team and reached out to me. And I have an ability to scale. I asked my staff, who wants to help me teach this? It has to just be a charitable donation. They won't let me pay you. And I have 12 of my employees say, I want to help teach. I want to make a difference. And to have work that is so impactful like that, I'm hoping that that's what helps my staff to stay and to want to work with me. Because it's not just about profits. It's not just about helping our clients generate profits, although that is important. That is part of what's keeping businesses and our communities alive. But that is beautiful as well. And again, I couldn't do this if I didn't have my team that is handling all the operational stuff. My role has just shifted over the years. I've done every role in my company, and it's really fun now to just be working on growth and just be working on client acquisition and philanthropic work and giving back to the community, which is what I really want to do.
That's, yeah, really, really wonderful work that you're doing, and fantastic that you have your team jumping behind that.
That's
And
cool.
and really, people would love to have a team and find an opportunity to get people, fired up about something. And what a great opportunity this is. And there's what is it, Habitat for Humanity. I remember working for a large company, and we would go out and do a lot of Habitat for Humanity, building houses and these sorts of things. And this is great because you're helping to build houses, but it's through bookkeeping and accounting, and you're teaching. What better place to donate your expertise to? I think it's beautiful. Now, jumping back into the business side of things, pricing. You started off with ProAdvisor. Maybe the ProAdvisor. Where did you start with pricing? What was that journey? Because that's a big piece.
So again, I remember as I first started, I think I was charging $25 an hour. And I had a CFO say, hey, Jenny, will you do all the accounting and bookkeeping work, and I'll do the CFO work? So he would pass me work, but man, I want to say I was probably only making $15, $20 on that. And then as I got my own clients, in addition to him, I just kept charging more. I would charge $5 more an hour. This client, I would charge 30. And then if that felt like they were like, oh, that's a good deal, then I would charge 40 and then 45. But I kind of felt like the sweet spot was around 50 an hour. And if I went on an appointment, I would charge 90 an hour. And so most appointments were about 2 hours. And then I would say, hey, if you want to pay for an extra hour, then you can follow up with me. So appointments were between 250 and 300 a pop, which was great. So I think I remember one person I tried to charge 60 or 65, and the amount of work I got, it's supply and demand. So I didn't get quite as much work because they were worried about the price point. So I settled around roughly $50 an hour. Then over time, the clients, usually it was the same amount of work every month, but it wasn't really until I brought Emily on that we started doing subscription pricing. And at that point, it was just because we had too many clients. It would take her hours to invoice. It would take me hours to invoice, to, tally every hour, charge them the hourly rate, when there wasn't much variability month to month. So we just did subscription pricing. And then over time, Emily just kept saying, Jenny, this is so dumb. You have got to charge more. You're hardly charging anything. But these clients are my friends. They're my family members. I've worked with them for 8-10 years, and I don't feel like I can charge them anymore because, again, I'm worried about the pushback. And so that was helpful to have her come in and say, no, we need to charge more. This is industry standard. I still am competing against CPA firms. So because we do have that remote work and less overhead, I am well under what they are charging. But I would say for my threshold now is I don't really take clients that are less than $500 a month. I would say the price point is, closer to $80, $90 an hour, but we are so efficient. My team, so I don't even know that that's necessarily the case. Obviously, I pay my CPAs more than I pay data entry. And so it's just kind of this basket of labor. But I don't really bring on clients that are less than 500 a month. Those are my really small clients. And then I have mid-sized clients that are probably 1,500 a month. And then, I have some clients that are paying us 10,000 a month, and they're huge. So, but the
And that's
subscription, I think, it just creates efficiencies. It reduces my time. The clients know exactly what to expect. And if there is a project that they need more help, we can say it's very important to establish expectations well in advance. So if we're doing a project and I've estimated that it will cost a certain amount to the client, and our labor is approaching the target, or I expect it will exceed that, I call the client and say, the project is more than we anticipated. Are you okay if we put another 10 hours on this? And if people know, it's much better that they know ahead of time and give approval than you just keep doing the work and then you send them an invoice and they're like, what the heck? I wasn't expecting that. So that's really important to manage the expectations.
How did you come up with subscription? Was it something that you had seen, or you just thought, well, this is a good way to go? What was it that made it go that way?
Again, it was efficiency. It was the amount of time, and it was the fact that we could identify that prices were pretty much the same month after month. And so we just simplified. We also just told our clients, hey, we're just going to draft your bank account at the beginning of the month. I was having them pay in arrears. So my AR was almost 30 days in arrears. And so I had way more AR than I should have. Now we bill them at the beginning of the month for any work we will incur during that month. And that was Emily just saying, no, they should prepay. I would go on appointments. I would get new clients, and I would think that they are my friend. Again, this is where the waters get muddy. My clients are my friends, and that is why they continue to work with me and they trust me. But I was definitely manipulated in some of those, and I had some clients that would give me $500 here or $500 here and carry a $3,000 or $4,000 balance. And for me, when I'm early in my career, I can't afford to carry a $3,000 or $4,000 balance. And then I finally just said,
you're getting in the banking business.
yeah, I'm like, I'm done. This is not working well for me. So pay me half of what you owe me and I'm going to move on. And then going forward, if I had a cleanup or a project, I would get a deposit that I could work off of so that I wasn't left holding the bag. If you don't have a relationship with somebody and you don't know that they're going to pay you, have them prepay you a deposit. And then, if the scope of work is extending beyond that, get another $500 or $1,000 or whatever, but don't be left holding the bag. But it for sure was a subscription model because of efficiency and time. But now we are not chasing money. We don't have a large AR, and it just creates a lot of security for the clients as well. We know that this is happening. We know the amount, and it's drafting every month, and it's no big deal. It's harder for people to actually get you paid, to take the time to do that, and then you're depositing checks and all these things. It's such a waste of time. The faster you can close that business loop, the more money you'll make.
I love that. Efficiency and, the whole get paid on the first of the month, ahead, get rid of the AR, simplify,
Your time is so valuable.
Mm-hmm. And when you switched to the more subscription model, was that, any pushback from clients? How did that go?
Like I said, most clients, it was roughly what they were paying anyways. And then any new oncoming clients, we would just say, we have a subscription model. We think it will cost about this much. And it was no big deal. I think most everything is pushed to a subscription-based model now. And then I say, nice. If it's more than that or less than that, then we'll address this in 3 months. But I mean, there were months that, I was eating labor And then after 3 months, we had to reassess, the price point. So it's not that I'm not tracking it. We still do job costing to every client. We still make sure we're profitable. But, some months might be more and some might be less. But a lot of our franchisees, the franchisor just said, this is going to be the flat rate for the franchisees, and that's what we do. So we have enough of the franchisees, and we're creating enough efficiencies that we can keep within that price point.
Wonderful. So that's a critical piece to the profitability of the business. And then when it comes to client selection, I'd love to know, you're getting clients, you're doing the pro advisor thing. In the beginning, it was like you went on any job you were delivered. Did that change eventually? Did you say, hey, you know what, we're not going to work with these type of people, or, these are our key people? How did that look?
That's a really good question. I would say for 10 or 12 years, I kept everybody and everything. And I don't think that is the right way to go, because it's the 80-20 rule. Your clients that are generating 80% of your revenue are really taking up 20% of your time. And you have these people that are so demanding and are sucking all of your time and energy, and they're really only generating 20% of your revenue. It's not worth that. So I had one client that was very toxic. Oh man, where do I even start? Every time he would call me, my stomach would drop. I would panic. He was just so abrasive and so mean, I think, to get what he wanted. And he didn't need to, but I would jump. And one time he said, my landlord's going to change my rent based on my financials. Will you adjust my financials so that they don't look like I've made as much money? And I'm like, that's fraud, right? And I said, I don't care what you do to your financials, but I'm not changing them. Like, if he wants to go and change them, whatever, but I'm not going to do that for him. And I think he thought, I'm showing again that I'm trustworthy, that I am not going to skirt the rules or the law or whatever. And I'm holding myself to a very high level. And it became apparent that my staff felt the same way I did. They were stressed every time he called, and he was just so demanding. And I just thought, this isn't worth it. If it's, again, my staff is my asset. And if he's making them feel bad, or if he's being a jerk, he's out of here. I have enough clients. I don't need this. But I don't even think it matters if you don't have a lot of clients. If you have somebody that's giving you a stomach ache and is stressing you out every time they call, that's not worth your time. Life is too short. There's plenty of work out there. You got to get rid of those people. And so, as a hard and fast rule, if I have any clients that are mean to my staff, or that is giving my staff a hard time, we very nicely craft an email and say, I don't, this relationship is not working. Emily says it in a very nice way. We are happy or we'll be ending our services. Here's a plan to transition you to a different firm. You have a 30-day notice. I mean, it's not mean, it's very nice, but sometimes the client's like, wait, what? What's happening? You're letting me go? Like, does that happen? But I will not work with people. I will not lose good employees because of a bad client.
Beautiful.
And sometimes I have CFOs or controllers that are so mean, I won't do it. And I have trained my staff, and they are so valuable to me that I would much rather lose a client than one of my team members.
That's beautiful. You got their back, and I echo that. I mean, everyone, so many people. I mean, it's kind of the nature of the work. You're working with type A personalities often,
Yeah.
And not all. You're going to come across a few, and
Yeah.
it can be
And I can
really
handle
detrimental.
type A, no big deal.
Yeah,
I would say I'm probably type A, but I won't handle mean people.
that's right.
I'm done.
That's right, because they're type A plus mean equals kind of vicious, right?
Yeah.
And so getting rid of those narcissistic, angry, mean people inconsiderate people, all these things add up on our well-being. It causes
they
damage. So all the chemicals that rush through our veins when we're dealing with people like that causes an impact on our well-being, and that's
well-being,
not only us but our family, and the ripple effect that goes on in our staff and their families. So the cost is huge, right? Invisible cost.
Yeah, I heard that one of my data entry girls was feeling like she needed to go to the doctor because she wasn't okay. And it was one of these clients. And it was a big client. We were on retainer for $15,000 a month. We were their accounting team. And that was really hard to let go. I kept working with Emily saying, is there anybody else that we can work with? Can we talk to the CEO? And we tried for 3-4 months to do things in a different way, to minimize things. And then it was like, nope, okay, we lost that account. That's no problem. I will go get more accounts. But when my staff is saying that they need to go to the doctor because they're not okay, that is the red flag that it's gone on too long.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, it's been a remarkable story. There, we could go on, and I want to thank you for all of this. I'd love to know if there are other thoughts that you wanted to share with our listener about your journey. We'd love to hear them, and maybe end it off there if there's any other tidbits that we could tackle. Yeah.
You bet. I remember I was I was renting a basement of a home while we were in residency. And, I have a family of 5 at the time, and I think there's 9 people living above us. And I'm in this back office that was a craft room with no carpet. It was really dirty. I converted it into my office. I found a carpet person with this old scrap of carpet that was new. It was ugly, but it was new and clean. Cleaned it up, made it into my makeshift office. And I remember thinking, I wonder if I could generate enough money on payroll to pay my rent. And my rent at the time was $600.
Wow.
And I just remember thinking, wow, I wonder if I could do that. I'm gonna see. And I am competitive, but I'm competitive with myself. I just think I'll set a goal and say, can I do that? Is that possible? And then I hit it, and then I think, well, maybe I could do this. And then I have a new target. So anybody that's listening, I would say you have to go bigger, have confidence in yourself. I think the number one limiting thing for women is their confidence. And I think that you have to try harder to believe in yourself and to say, yes, I can, because I can be honest, I can be hardworking, I have goals, I can show up, I am organized, and you lean into what you're good at. And if you don't know something, you say, I'm not sure, but let me find out and I'll get back to you. I would Google stuff. I'd talk to other CPAs. If I didn't know something, I love learning. I love asking questions. I'm not above asking questions. And I think you just keep acquiring these new skill sets. You meet with new people, new clients, new industries, and you just keep getting better. And so, again, I think it comes down to this mentality shift of, yes, you can. And I really didn't think that I would have $1 million company, but now my goal is 8 figures, and my goal is to employ 100 people. Now, I hope it doesn't take me another 17 years to do that. I hope I can expedite that and make it faster, and I'm planning on it. And I see good things coming, but I am willing to take risks, even if they're hard. And I have done a lot of really hard things the last 2 years and a lot of hard interviews, and it builds. So just hang in there and just know that every bit of effort, every day that you show up, it compounds and it matters. And don't limit yourself.
It's remarkable. Congratulations on the great success. I mean, it's
you.
a validation of the tremendous opportunity there is in the industry. And
for everyone.
Yes, for everyone. And that's exciting. And the real exciting piece is just with the will, right? There is a way. Yeah, it's really cool. The things that you've done, what you've had to go through thick and through thin, and illnesses, and from where you started to where you are now, is really remarkable. And we don't have that many stories that we can tell on this podcast. It's a shining star for us to hear your journey and to see it. And that's, anyone has the ability to go out into the market and build any size business that they dream of, and take the steps, take the actions.
Do it. Just go for it. I mean, I love what I do. I love my staff. I love talking with clients. It makes me happy. I love the fact that I can give back. And I know that it's small in comparison to other companies, but I am really grateful that I didn't sell my business. I think it's okay too to have times and seasons where you pull back. There are times that I had to really hustle hard. And then there were times that I pulled back and I didn't accept any new clients. And I needed to focus on all my little kids. And then there's a time for growth, and there's a time to delegate. I think it's super important to delegate, even right from the start. You'll make more money and you'll be more successful. It's not easy for everyone to delegate. I have a lot of staff members that I wanted to promote to managers, but they weren't able to delegate. They had to have 100% control. And I think for me, I feel like I have enough balls in the air anyways, that I have to delegate. And I expect my staff to show up and figure it out and do the best they can. And if they don't know, ask, and we will help them. But I think it's important that anybody listening, that you go for it and you imagine what that looks like. I didn't go into this with the intention of having a big company. It happened one employee at a time. You said, how do you get to 30 employees? Well, I start with 1, and then 2, and then okay, we need more data entry help. Okay, I think we need a CPA. Okay, I think we need another CPA. And it's just dictated by the demands of the client, but we adjust, and we're hoping that people look at us as a place where they want to come work and be a part of it. And it grows and it matters. So just don't underestimate yourself is my advice.
I love it. Been tremendous having this conversation with you, and want to thank you for your generosity and coming on the show and sharing all of this with us, and wish you luck in the next phase of this business.
I appreciate it. It's nice to meet you.
Yes. What an inspiring conversation with Jenny. It's amazing what she's done so far. Hopefully you enjoyed the chat as much as I did. And with that, we wrap another episode of the Successful Bookkeeper podcast. To learn more about today's wonderful guest and to get access to all sorts of valuable free business building resources, you can go to thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Until next time, goodbye.
You've been listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with Michael Palmer. For more information and to download the resources mentioned in this episode, please visit us at thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Thank you for listening.